Hoops Tribe, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Hoops. Are you not entertained? And I have to give credit where credit is due. The WNBA marketing team, they've been doing a big one with these warning commercials. The way they're really able to capture the essence of the player that they're highlighting. Like, these commercials are on point, and I don't think we're talking about them enough. That warning with the drill beat, that went bump for real. And then the soundtrack, like whoever is in charge of music, they've been repping for the girls. We getting Dolce, Glorilla, Beyonce. But I know why you're here. We gotta break down these games, man. Let's talk hoops.
Let's talk hoops, let's talk hoops, let's talk hoops. What's the scoop? What's the scoop? What's the scoop? Let's talk hoops, let's talk.
The Indiana Fever force a game 5. I'm not surprised. It's not what I wanted, but I'm not surprised. I have to be brutally honest here. The Fever's offense looks good. I will go as far as saying schematically, it's looking better than the Aces. There's just more actions, more movement. There's a lot more screening, a lot more backdoor cuts. And that is really what's hurting. Yes, Kelsey Mitchell is explosive and great for their offense, but this offense also benefits Odyssey Sims and Shea Petty, who are also quick off the dribble, and they've been getting it to the hole. So, let's pause. We look at the Aces defense like a wall. Indiana Fever, they're a hammer, and they're just hammering in on that wall consistently, moving, and it's gonna break. So the slippage is in the second action. Couple that efficient offense with the defense that they've been able to put up against the Aces. The intensity off those hedges on screens, that double team, it's bothersome. It's hurting. It's forcing bad passes. It's forcing overthinking. I need for Jackie Young to get into her flow state. She can't overthink it. In this game, I watched her give up open looks. Sometimes she's too passive. And right now, in this series, they're going to need her to step up because A'ja Wilson is still trying to figure out this matchup between her and Aliyah Boston. And I think Rebecca Lobo put it perfectly. She said that Aliyah Boston likes contact and A'ja Wilson likes space. The Indiana Fever have been able to crowd her, be very annoying, just putting their hands on her, making her work a lot harder. And then Aliyah Boston is so strong. So all that banging around that she has to do with Aliyah Boston, that is impacting her on the offensive end. I can imagine it being frustrating trying to guard Aliyah Boston and be as physical back with her as she's being with you when you're being called for the fouls. You all know I'm one of the last to talk about foul discrepancies. More times than not, I will call out other reasons for a loss, just like I'm about to do in this game. But we can't look over. The Indiana Fever shot 34 free throws. Las Vegas shot 11. And when we're watching these clips back and we're listening to the commentators, everybody is on the same page when it comes to Aliyah Boston and her physicality and how she's getting away with things, period. How many times now during these playoffs have you heard a commentator or somebody in the media call out that Aliyah Boston is holding? She's initiating contact. That type of discrepancy is going to impact the game, period. You can't deny that. And then I find it interesting that these are the same group of referees who Coach Hammond criticized before the game when she was asked about Cheryl Reeve and what went down in Phoenix. She stood behind Cheryl and said she told no lies. Now, I don't know if the referees heard that, but that probably was, I don't know if that helped the situation. In the post-game press conference, they asked A'ja about the foul discrepancy and because she was looking at the box score, and she said it's interesting, but they'll be better. And she brought the emphasis back to their defense, and that's really what it is. It's going to be the defense every time. Yes, there was a foul discrepancy, but there were so many slippages, miscommunications on defense. They can't afford to play Kirsten Bell those 6 minutes. I'm sorry. She's not fitting in the lineup in this series. I think they need to go Dana Evans. I can also see wanting to go Jewel Lloyd, but then you're hesitant because mentally, what is it going to be like with her being back in that starting lineup when she has found success coming off of the bench? But even with coming off the bench, the offensive production is hit or miss sometimes. The first quarter, she hit those 2 big threes, and then there was a drought after that. Allie Finn from Review Journal straight up asked Coach Hammond about Dana Evans' minutes. She played 13 minutes in comparison to Jewell Loyd's 32. Jewell Loyd had 6 points. Dana had 3. I think that she was in for defense, but Jewell Loyd is still getting cooked too. Everybody's getting cooked. I think when it comes to the offensive flow that Dana might be a better choice at times because she's able to get downhill, and the Aces are settling for 3-point shooting. And they shot well from 3, 39% in this game. But driving to the basket more, driving to the basket with intention and looking for your shot, it's like they were driving and sometimes they was just looking to pass. I just think that driving breaks down the defense more, and it's still going to open up your shots around the perimeter, but they have to be more decisive. Their indecision led to 17 turnovers. Asia put up 31, and it's like, whoop-de-doo. They have to stop leaning on Asia so much because it makes the offense simple. They know who to hone in on. The ball has to pop. You really want Aliyah Nye's ability to shoot around the perimeter, but then you worry about her ability to protect the ball with this Indiana Fever defense. The Fever defense can consume you. You really don't want to play Meg Gustafson for 15 minutes in this matchup, but you have no choice because Alyssa Smith has 5 fouls. And while Meg Gustafson is a hustle player, she does everything that she's being asked to do. It's just sometimes there's a limit on the ability. There was moments where she was open, but I don't know if it was they felt they couldn't get it to her or they didn't trust it, because when they're throwing it to Asia Wilson or Alyssa Smith, Asia and Alyssa are like wide receivers out there. They're able to really catch anything. We didn't see any Cheyenne Parker-Tyus or Kia Stokes. I don't know if they would have looked better in this situation. Maybe I would have wanted to see it. I don't know. Aliyah Boston had a double-double, 24 points, 14 rebounds. She went 10 for 13 from the free throw line, 7 for 15 from the floor. She's been dominant, like it or not. Game 5 is back in Vegas, and I still have no worries. I have no doubts that Vegas is going to take this series. I feel good about it. Watching their demeanor in the post-game press conference, they know what they need to do. They have to come in with the energy and effort to get it done. Odyssey Sims had 18 points. The Fever just had a strong effort from the whole team. And it's just crazy because these people are signed off waivers. This is nowhere near the team that they started with. You would just hope that no matter what happens, the Fever go to the finals or not, you will hope that the Indiana Fever will want to invest in what they got going on right now. Somebody got to lock Odyssey Sims in. It's malpractice that she's not in the league officially. Like, I mean, she in the league, but why doesn't she have a home? Why aren't people building around her? It doesn't make any sense. You look at the Fever injury report, they got 7 players that's not playing. That is literally crazy. That's why they need to go home. Send them home, Aces. Wrap this up. When you summarize all of this, this game came down to free throws, defense, and moving the ball. Value in possessions. My faith hasn't wavered in the Aces to take this series. They know what they need to do. Everybody knows what they need to do. It's about doing it, though. And that's the hard part. Now we in do or die. These moments are what make champions. They taking it back to Vegas. Aces in 5. That's been the word all season. It's the word right now. They got to get it done. But moving into Minnesota versus Phoenix, Phoenix is going back to the finals for the first time since 2021. The narrative of the underdog has been the theme of these semifinals, with Indiana Fever stretching it to a Game 5, and now the Phoenix Mercury coming in at the number 4 seed, taking down the number 1 seed. This is only the 3rd time in WNBA history where a team with this type of winning percentage. The Lynx were above 700. They're only the 3rd team to not make it to the finals with this type of record. But they gave it everything that they had. That was an admirable performance. And that's the performance that I was expecting. Because when the news broke, when we all saw Napheesa Collier go down, we had a feeling that this might be it. And it was easy to give up on them. But then I had to think about what we've seen from Jessica Shepard in moments where Nafisa Collier is down. What we've seen Courtney Williams do, Kayla McBride, who had a tremendous game, 31 points. And she made my chest swell up just watching her in the post game because she was so emotional. And you're emotional with her because you know, watching that performance, that she was giving it everything that she had on both ends of the court. And like she said, she was playing for her sisters and her family. She's playing for Nafisa Collier. She's playing for Cheryl Reeve. And I don't think they could have played, well, obviously they could have played a better game. But at the end of the day, I think that Phoenix was just the better team. And they were going to be the better team, even with Nafisa Collier. Watching the events unfold, Nafisa Collier doesn't get hurt. Phoenix was still winning that game. Jessica Shepard, she stepped up like I knew she would. 14 points, 54% from the floor. She started off really explosive in the first half, but that second half, Phoenix figured it out. They figured out how to slow her down, and that was really that. We've watched them all season. We know that this Alyssa Thomas train, Alyssa Thomas, wow, that's really just clicking to me. Now it's even funnier that they put her face on that train. And I know that she's the engine, and my mind is just blown from making that connection right now. But Alyssa Thomas looks unstoppable right now. She was flirting with a triple-double. She had 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists, 61% from the floor. And I know that she doesn't want us talking about her shoulders. But as a person getting up there in age, I just admire her ability to compete at the highest level without going through surgery. I think it's something to be said about the natural ability to overcome pain, the natural ability for your body to be able to adapt when you strengthen other areas around your ailment or whatever it is that's injured. So I'm sorry, AT, but I had to point it out. I admire you, buddy. Nate Tibbetts is just second-year coach. He was hired in 2023, but he took over 2024. 2025, he going to the finals. And it's something about his aura. The guy just seemed cool, you know? I like his playbook. I think that he has the perfect offense for the set of players that he has. Satu Sabli is having a hell of a rebound season after going through that stretch in Dallas, being injured. Now she's healthy and she's going to the biggest stage. I love that she says she's trying to catch up with her little sister, you know, Niara. And she also brought up that she's repping international waters. I love that she highlighted that because I think we don't highlight that enough because international players are making waves in the WNBA. Kalia Copper went 3 for 12, but the buckets that she hit, they just always seem to matter the most. Very strong performance for DB coming off the bench. She went 75% from 3. That's why they call her Big Shot Bonner. Now, if Phoenix does, let's just say Phoenix wins the championship, that would be a fairy tale ending. Earlier in the season, I posed the question, was this move back to Phoenix the fairy tale ending she was looking for? I question if her presence would throw off some of the chemistry. But in moments like this, it just proves to be one of the best decisions Phoenix has made all season. The Atlanta Dream GM won Executive of the Year, but Phoenix was third in voting, and it makes sense because the way that they constructed this whole thing was supreme. You did your big one, my guy. I'm just thinking about Minnesota having to go through all this without their head coach. Like, it was interesting to see Eric Thibault back on the sideline as a head coach. I'm pretty sure he didn't envision himself being in that position this season. I can imagine emotions being very high. And so it brings home that commercial that's like, one team is going to have a very quiet plane ride home. And that's exactly what I envision Minnesota going through. I think about Minnesota and what they're going to look like next season. With everything that's been happening, is Cheryl Reeve in the hot seat? We just saw Sandy Brondello. Now, while I can't imagine Cheryl Reeve being in the hot seat, we have to think about those things. With everything going on postseason, does Minnesota look in another direction in leadership? Do they switch up their roster? What do the Minnesota Lynx do at this point? Because that makes 2 back-to-back seasons where you're favorited and it doesn't pan out. But what are your thoughts, Hoops Tribe? How are you feeling about Phoenix going on to the finals. Who do you think is going to win this next matchup between Vegas and Indiana? And I'm sorry for the late video. I was tired, man. I went to the court and I was trying to act like I was pretending to be Jackie Young out there, okay? I usually have my kid that I train with, but we switched up our days today. And I was like, let me get a session in. Let me train like I'm training him. Man, I train harder. I train myself harder than I train him for sure. And I'm feeling it. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk hoops.